have a cold. Hello, this is my best films of 2010 video. James has said what we've got to look forward to. If you haven't seen that video, then please click somewhere on this screen. But what I want to do is just take a moment to look back over this fantastic last year of films. So first of all, I want to talk about my picks, what I particularly liked. And judging from the comments on our first video, a lot of you are agreeing with these things. So my first pick is Whip It. This was a great film, Drew Barrymore's directorial debut. I think she did a great job, and it was very Drew Barrymore. If you've seen it, you'll kind of get what I mean. Sassy isn't the right word, very kind of... you know what I mean. One film that I loved was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and this has come up a lot in the comments. I think what it is that it's expertly mixed the world of film and gaming. The whole structure of the story and the elements of gaming are in there, and also of the comic book world. It's a very, very clever film. If you haven't seen it, go and see it. Next film is Inception. How does Christopher Nolan just bam, come at you with these awesome films? If you're not very with it, don't go and see it. Don't rent it on DVD. You need to be kind of focused. It's one of those kind of films with spectacular special effects. Despicable Me. I loved Despicable Me much better than things like How to Train Your Dragon or Megamind, and even The Princess and the Frog. Despicable Me is from a little company called, I think, Illumination Entertainment. Hold me to that. It was funny, it was witty, it didn't pander to people. I love Disney, but kids can handle a bit more than just the odd song and dance. Harry Potter, I have to say it, and I'm not going to say too much about it, but what I will say is that it was one of my favourite films of the year, but I don't really feel I can judge it until the next film comes out, so I have to stick around. Tron. I was so glad that I saw the original before I saw Tron Legacy. It really allowed me to get some of the subtleties. It doesn't mean that you have to see Tron first. Now, I'm not a fan of 3D, but I would suggest seeing Tron in 3D if you haven't already seen it, because it has a great kind of Wizard of Oz moment where it goes from 2D to 3D as you go into the computer world. The first film that's really come up with some kind of new concept with 3D like that. Fantastic. Of course, my last pick of 2010 has to be Toy Story 3. You know, there was going to be this fight between Toy Story and Shrek. Toy Story blew Shrek out of the water. Toy Story 3 was the end of an era, a perfect ending. People my age remember really loving the first film. It was something new. We'd never seen computer animation before. But that's not why we loved it. We loved these characters, we invested in them. I couldn't predict what they were going to do, but I couldn't have asked for any better. There were a lot of other cinema highlights during the year, which I just want to mention very, very quickly. So there was The Social Network, aka The Story of Facebook, which, not very true to life, but very, very good, and gives you a bit of insight into these new kind of social media explosions. Very interesting. Kick-Ass. I wasn't that big a fan of Kick-Ass, but I have to mention it because I'm sure loads of people love it. I know I have friends who just adore it. Unstoppable. Not that big a film, but it really, really good. It was one of my most enjoyed films. A bit like Speed, you know, speeding train and, oh, we've got to stop it, but better structured than Speed overall. There were also a couple of British films that you may have missed. Well, Nowhere Boy, Story of John Lennon, Cemetery Junction, which is a Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant film, Made in Dagenham, which is the story of the UK fight for women's equal pay. That's all I have for now. If you want to find out which films I think were completely overrated, then you can go to the blog, link in the doobly-doo. Don't forget to tell me what you think was, 1, the best films of the year, not necessarily a favourite, but the best films, and 2, tell me what you thought was completely overrated. We love you. See you at the movies.